Sudeep Audio's YouTube channel.
Thank you.
Please tell us something about how you got initiated into the music line and how has your journey been, your struggle period been once you started?
To start off with, my father was a musician. He's a musician, and he used to be an arranger in the film industry. So he's worked with the likes of Kalyanji, Anandji, and Lakshmikant Pyarelal. So music has always been part of the household, and stuff like that.
What is his name? Your father?
Balthazar Fernandes.
Any movies that we have heard?
Loads. I think he was with Kalyanji Anandji till 1975. So he's done like songs like Mere Desh Ki Dharti and all those movies probably which I have never watched. But yeah, so he was a violinist, and he used to make us practice the violin a lot. He wanted us to not be musicians but learn music. So he was quite strict with us, quite regimented practices, long hours of practices that we used to have playing the violin.
Was it a punishment of sorts?
At that age it was it was kind of a punishment. We used to hate doing it, all of us, even my sisters and I.
What age group are we?
I was the youngest, so I must have been probably about 7 or 8 or something like that. Then playing in church and playing violin, then I took on to playing trumpet. Then I played with the Bombay Chamber Orchestra. I played trumpet, learned under many visiting foreign artists from London and stuff like that. Then I switched on to French horn. So I played French horn for around 3 years there. Then came up piano. It kind of suddenly happened to me because we used to always have a piano in the house ever since I remember before even I was born it was there. So my sisters used to learn classical piano and they used to play the piano, but I was never like attracted to it. For some reason I never thought of opening it and playing it until one day my now brother-in-law had visited home back then, and he's a jazz pianist, and he started playing the piano, and I suddenly was like, wow, this instrument sounds like this. And then I started experimenting on it. I used to try and copy things that he used to play, and when he was not around I used to play. One day he happened to hear me and he said like, why don't you play for a band? I said, I don't think I can play for a band. This is all I know that, He said, no, you learn. If you play for a band, you learn. So he initiated me to join a band, and then my thing for keyboard started, and later on 3 bands later I was like introduced to programming, because at that point of time there was a lot of dance music that was happening in those days, even in the English scenario especially. So it required a little bit of programming. Besides playing live, you needed to program certain parts and play. So there's where my dad brought me an MC50, which was back then the workhorse machine of the day, and from then on I just got so attracted to programming and sound synthesis. There's no looking back ever since.
During your school days, were you able to manage studying as well as all this rehearsals, practice?
No, mostly my music started much later. It was post school, and in fact I think it was during my college days. I started playing for the Bombay Chamber Orchestra during my college days, and thereafter I think by the time I was in my final year, then I started playing with bands. So final year, you know how it is, we're not too interested in studies. So it was a lot of shows and gigs, and so it was okay. Fine.
So knowing that your father has done wonderful work with composers of yesteryear, it must have been a cakewalk for you for coming in this line and working.
No, in fact it was the other way around. And my parents, not particularly my dad, but my mom, and they never wanted me to be a musician because musicians had a bad name at that point
really?
in time. Like especially the gigging musicians that into drugs, and musicians always have a bad name. So they didn't want me to be a musician. So they wanted me.
In spite of him being
very much. They didn't want me to be a musician. So they wanted me to have a day job, or and music. They said you can do it as a hobby. You can probably play a gig in the evening, but during the day you need to take up a job, which I did, and I precisely worked with two companies, one company for a month and the other company for 7 days. And then after that I just joined a band, and I just couldn't handle working, a 9 to 5 job. I joined another band which was doing very well at that point of time, and so
what name was the band?
Infrared. So it was, at that point of time, it was doing very well and they had lots of gigs. So then I was kind of busy and making money, so my parents didn't okay, he's making money, so that's fine. So then from there on it went into programming, and I started getting interested in programming, and I left the band eventually, and I said that I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done with it, and I went into programming. Then with the whole round of meeting people, music directors, working with people, and in those days there was no concept of laptops and computers and USB pen drives. You had to lug your gear 50 kgs, 100 kgs of gear. You had to carry
on
it.
your own?
Yeah, I had to do it on my own.
You didn't have people who were lifting it for you?
No, not at that point of time. It was just the beginning of a career, and you're trying to make money, and so you don't have that spare cash to give somebody. You don't have a vehicle. You travel by auto rickshaw or taxi. So yeah, a lot of lifting of gear. And but I would never think of my journey till here as a struggle, because for me it was fun. Music was always fun. It was never a struggle. I can't think of it as struggle, even though I must have been programming at times almost for 5-6 years that I was programming. I must have been doing 8 hours non-stop of programming at a stretch, 8 hours from night 12 to morning 8 o'clock. But I never felt, I used to enjoy the process, so I never felt it like a struggle. I never felt it hard work, in fact. I always enjoyed it.
So Aggi, could you share with us about some projects, film projects that you have done and how you started?
Yeah, a couple of film projects that I've done, background scores especially for Yash Raj films, like New York, Kabul Express, Badmaash Company, Dil Bole Hadippa, lots of them. And besides that, also worked with music directors like Salim-Sulaiman on some background scores and projects, and also by myself on some other projects. So yeah, it's been a great experience working on background scores, and it's a fun thing. I like doing background scores.
Any interesting episode that might have happened in any of these films while working with them? Actually,
yeah. In fact, when I was approached for Kabul Express, that was the first film that I did with Yash Raj as a background score. The music director Julius Packham had called me. He got my number through some common friend of ours, and he asked me whether I would be interested in working for a background score for YRF films, Yash Raj films. And at that point of time I was busy working on an album with the Sitar maestro Niladri Kumar. So I kind of downright said, no, I don't think I'll be free, because I don't know, at that point of time Yash Raj had this kind of thing that they used to do love stories and Dil Wale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge, which was not really my cup of tea. I thought probably I'm not cut for that kind of stuff. So I said no to Julius, and I said probably I'll give you a friend's number and you could speak to him and he would be interested in doing it. And I gave him a friend's number, and he for some reason didn't call the guy. I don't know what happened. He called me back again and he said, can you seriously do it? I said, what kind of film is it? Can I see the film before I do it, so that I know that, So he said, that would be difficult, because it's Yash Raj films and stuff like that. He said, why don't you do one thing? You get your stuff, you come over to Yash Raj Studios, we'll have a screening and we start the work. So I said, okay, cool. And I remember going with the staff and setting it up at Yash Raj, and then we sat in for a screening, and I saw the movie, and I thought Kabir Khan had done a brilliant job on the film, and I said, yeah, this is the kind of stuff that I really think that I would be able to do justice to. And from there on we started the work and composed the theme for the movie Kabul Express, and from there on then we did New York, which was another amazing experience, working again with Kabir Khan for the second time, and it's been fun ever since.
So Aggi, besides background scores, do you also do album work? And
yeah, I have done album work. I have worked with Niladri Kumar.
The Sitar.
Yeah, Sitar player, whatever. I have produced, arranged, programmed a couple of his albums, Priority, Sitar Gaze, and some stuff before that, Pandit Hariom Sharan's bhajan projects, which we have remade with various singers of the industry, Hariharan and Sonu Nigam and Shankar. So that, and currently we're working on another one which is always in the process, and also have done an album with Suchitra Pillai, then another one that hasn't been released yet of this singer called Azan. So that's also a kind of a romantic Indian melodic kind of album with Western arrangements, and yeah, those are the couple of albums that I've done.
Okay, and you tour a lot for shows. And
yeah, I tour a lot. I used to tour with Neeraj Sridhar of Bombay Vikings. That was about a year back. Now I'm only touring for Niladri Kumar with his band Sitar Funk. Just 4-5 of us. Just me, Niladri Kumar, Satyajit Talwalkar on tabla, Gino Banks on drums, and Sheldon De Silva on bass. And also sometimes off and on I do gigs with Aman and Ayan, Ali Khan, so with their setup also.
So now your parents don't have a problem you being in it?
Now they don't have a problem at all.
Good. Good. And what is it that you would tell a newcomer who's maybe just starting off in this line?
As a programmer, yeah.
As a musician,
as a programmer, yeah. This line, though it looks very glamorous from the outside, there's a lot of hard work. But as I said, it is fun. It's never hard work. I mean, if you look at it that way, it could be hard work if you want it to be. But if you're enjoying what you're doing, it's always fun. And always, till today, I just give it my 100%, you know. Because every time I take up a new job, a new project, I never know. You're as good as your last job, basically. So I never know whether I'll be able to do justice with it, whether I'll be able to leave an impact with the work I do, or whether it's just going to, you know, just going to fizzle away. So I'm always on the, how do you say, I'm always nervous about a new job. I'm never like confident, oh yeah, I can do it, like get it on. It's never been that way. It's always, you're always nervous about the new job.
Right. We see a lot of software boxes and lying just outside the studio.
Yeah.
What is your thinking about using original products in your productions and music?
Well, I definitely think we should use original products. That is how we can expect the industry to develop more, and there will be more research. The more money we put into products, then they can go ahead and, you know, develop better and research better and come up with newer products for us. So it's like a cycle that we have to put in the money where, you know, I see as a newcomer, I understand that not everybody can afford softwares, you know, to buy original softwares, and there are lots of newcomers who are not doing as much work that pays them, and they're using crack softwares. That's fine, but I feel that people who are in the industry and who are making money out of the industry and music, I think we should invest in original software. It is a must.